Could WikiLeaks, or a group like WikiLeaks, embarrass or damage the church? WikiLeaks describes itself as a not-for-profit media organization which provides, quote, innovative, secure, and anonymous ways for independent sources to leak information to journalists. In other words, it's dedicated to radical involuntary transparency, or another way, to providing untraceable and uncensorable ways to expose the secrets of governments and corporations. Says WikiLeaks director, 39-year-old Australian Julian Assange, leaking is inherently an anti-authoritarian act. We get information in the mail, we vet it like a regular news organization, release it to the public. As you've been following Front Page for the last several weeks, U.S. Army Private Bradley Manning contributed to worldwide stir by using a music CD, it wasn't actually this one, but it looked something like this, and a drive, or several, to transfer hundreds of thousands of confidential U.S. reports on Afghanistan, Iraq, and U.S. diplomacy to WikiLeaks, which then made them public. Now, as you may be aware, WikiLeaks is threatening to, quote, take down a major American bank. And as you've also seen, Bank of America shares fell for a period of time. Everyone assumes that they're the target. 3 WikiLeaks implications. First, headlines to the contrary. Most analysts agree WikiLeaks revealed no war-changing state secrets. They really had none to reveal, though it did breach U.S. diplomatic confidences and chilled future candor. Second, in sympathy with WikiLeaks, this is, I think, a more troubling development, Anonymous, a shadowy hackers group, coordinated online attacks against Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal, and threatened, if WikiLeaks were attacked, to unleash cyber Armageddon. Third, publics ask, are WikiLeaks groups heroes or anarchists? As often happens, a virtue, like information freedom, can be taken to an extreme and become a vice. 3 possible church implications. First, technical attack. Are we sufficiently protected against industrial-strength cyber attacks by well-funded, capable countries or groups which probe the church each day? Let me give you an example. A Russian hacker claims to have broken the encryption which authenticates photographs. In other words, he says there's no technical way to show that these photographs are not real. We look at them and we know instantly that they can't be real. You can't have a Russian flag on the moon. But he says if you look at the encryption involved, you can't tell technically that they have been doctored. Second, personnel attack. Breaches often begin with a disgruntled individual on the inside, often in a lower level position with access in a remote location. Private Manning reportedly became depressed after his homosexual companion left him and then lectured him. And on his Facebook page, Private Manning wrote, I am not a piece of equipment. He said he could access sensitive documents, quote, because of weak servers, weak logging, weak physical facility, weak counterintelligence, inattentive signals analysis, ... a perfect storm. So, technical personnel. Third is the unintended. Do we have appropriate protocols in case of accidental loss or theft of a church laptop, an iPad, or a data drive with sensitive information? A question that's worth asking frequently, I think. In the end, this we do know, and the rebellious shall be pierced with much sorrow, for their iniquities shall be spoken upon the housetops, and their secret acts are the ones that shall be revealed. Comments? Questions?
I've forgotten where the sergeant is now.
He's in solitary confinement. They're worried about him committing suicide. I think what they're trying to do is to build a case that perhaps there was some solicitation of the material. The WikiLeaks people say, no, it came to us. We had no idea where it was coming from. it's not clear whether that's in fact the case.
But he is confirmed homosexual.
He is.
Has
Openly.
has that been in the news?
Yes.
Yes,
New York Times
I missed that somehow.
piece.
just in the very beginning.
Yeah. There was, Elder Oaks, initially a concern, the possibility that he'd been reprimanded for homosexual issues, but that was not in the news afterwards. He is, I think, openly homosexual. And the reports were, as Elder Cook was mentioning, that his companion left him and he became depressed, and that seems to have been, based on his Facebook writings, one of the features that caused him to do what he did.
The reason I ask the question is not related to this presentation, but I'm suspicious that the news media cover up anything involving homosexuals when it would work to the disadvantage of the homosexual agenda and so on. And I just wondered if there was some of that in this.
It was in the collateral press, and New York Times covered it as well.
But right at the beginning.
Thank you.
Is it required that all these bright stars that invent all these processes are corrupt?
Surely it must not be the case that everyone who is bright in inviting things is corrupt, but clearly some are.
Specifically, the ones that have...
My own sense is you listen to this particular man, Julian Assange, the rhetoric is surely a nice idea that there should be freedom of information, but when you listen to him, you get a feel from him, you get a much more of the anarchist than the freedom fighter.
Was he gay?
I don't know. He was under indictment, as you're alluding to, for sexual assault, but it seemed to be rape charges that he was coming under, not for being gay.
Well, thank you, I think.